Hey y'all, Jimmy here from Dig It Homesteading, and here I am with a deep freezer that no longer works that I have been saving for just this day. And we'll show you start to finish on what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I think it's pretty interesting, and come join us today. It pretty much is going to take all of us to get this done. And this is going to be a nice project that passively works in the yard for me without much effort from me except for setup. Okay, so I'm realizing that I am pretty horrible at seed starting for fall/winter gardening. Look at this. I don't know what it is, but this has happened twice where I have let them dry out. And these ones are new seeded things that didn't come up. So I'm either going to have to re-sow or just plant out what survives. So I did water it. This celery seemed to be doing quite nice, which I'm impressed by. So yeah, things fell. And that's okay. You just learn from it. Try to do better, or try to make an accommodation. Try to make accommodations so that you can do better another time. And basically, I'm either forgetting to water these little seedling trays right now or getting too busy to do it. Sorry, the neighbor's dogs are barking at my dogs. There's a lot of distractions going on today, but hey, that's how we roll around here. But anyway, I'll show you something pretty as well. I don't know if you can see that, but the rooster and one of our hens is digging in the corner over there, trying to find a clutch of eggs that all the chickens have been laying over there in the corner. I think the kids just found about 12 eggs. These crazy little baby new layers don't know what to do. Can you train a chicken to lay in the nesting box? So look. This is a confederate rose, and they're starting to bloom. On one of my previous videos, I showed y'all this plant. I think it's the Roselle hibiscus video, which you should check that out too. But isn't that just gorgeous? And I'll show you what they look like when they start out. So look how light pink that is. And look how dark pink that is. So they bloom a darker pink, and then as they age, they get lighter and lighter. And this plant goes on all the way over here and is taller than my house. And this was hardy over the summer and winter, and I did not water this plant. We had a drought and we did have hard freezes. So if you're looking for something that meets that criteria, usually it's like bushier. There's the only thing I see difference with not really paying much attention to it, but you can see it's blooming and it's growing, so it'll die back in the winter, and I'll come through and cut these. But I thought that was very interesting to see. I like to find plants that take care of themselves and get them planted as well.
Looks like you've got sunglasses on.
Yeah. Okay, so I get it. It's weird because it's still light, and we're just realizing it kind of looks like you have sunglasses on. I have enlisted the help of my son and my husband. You see this stuff back here? We're gonna have to move it. So we have a lot of stuff that we either get free or super cheap, or we stack up, like those fences they just moved. They were around where the chickens are now to protect the garden from the dogs running around. So we just, you know, take it down and move it and reuse things as much as possible. That might be a burn pile.
It is, it's trash.
Okay, so, you know, if these things sit here so long that we don't end up using them, then we can just burn them or trash them or whatever. But you might be able to see there's some countertops there, and they're really nice countertops. And of course it doesn't matter if they sit out in the weather, they'll be just fine. They're natural stone. But can you see the white thing back there?
I know.
That is a freezer. So these worms are going to move from a one-bedroom apartment to a mansion. And we have to get this thing set up and straightened up, and I don't want it in the middle of the yard because you can see this full sun. They won't like that. Not here in Texas. It gets way too hot and my worms would cook in there. So I had to get my strong guys to go ahead and do this for me because there's no way I could do this on my own. So you might have seen my backyard reset video, whatever it's called. So I have along this fence all my extra pots and storage, and it's over here in the shade where it won't be in the way or disintegrating in the sun. But I have this whole area through here that I don't really have a whole lot. Can you see how she's walking down? Really, Chippy? She says this is my spot. Anyway, we don't have a whole lot going on over this way, but this does slope down quite a bit right here. So I'm going to finish clearing all of this up, and we're going to make a space for this. This is always in the shade, which is what I need for my worms here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish moving all of this stuff, and then the guys are going to help me with the rest. I'm trying to figure out what I could do with this in the garden, because it is super heavy duty. So if you have ideas for that on what I could do, I've even thought about going this way with it and somehow making it a strawberry tower or something like that. But if you have any other ideas, please let me know, because I like to reuse things and keep them out of the landfills. Plus, having free things in the garden makes it where I can grow more stuff for free. Alright, so there is all cleaned up. It does really go down right here, but I'm hoping from here to there is just enough room to bring this freezer over. Oh, wow, the dogs are really putting on a show today. Look at him, he's got a heart on his side. See it? Isn't it cute? This isn't going to be very fun for them. Going over all that uneven ground with a big old heavy piece of stuff. They're going to have their work cut out for them. And you might be able to see back over there, he has a video going on over there about all that stuff. And I don't know when he's going to post it. But he is at Fix It Restore It, and he has a YouTube channel too, which I think is pretty cool, so check him out. And you can see what's going on over there as soon as he posts it. Alright, so this is what it looks like when they have it in place. We have 4 of those underneath it, mainly because when we have our rainy season, this area will collect water. So we've made this space that was unusable now usable. And yes, it's ugly. It's horribly, horribly ugly. But this is also one less item in the landfill, and it's going to be over here out of the way in a part of the yard we couldn't use any other way, making things that will help our garden just passively. So I'll show you inside real quick. Okay, so you see I've still got all the baskets, drawers, all the things in here, well, shelves, and then the top as well. So we're going to take out this, and we need to drill holes along here That way there's extra airflow for the worms. Especially, I'm gonna try to work out something where I can keep it about like this. That way it'll keep out a lot of rain. But during the winter, I'm thinking I might need to close it all the way or more than this. So they will need airflow when this lid is closed. So we'll show you how we get that done as well. So I've been thinking about getting this project done this past week. And this guy and I are very in sync. Because the other night he comes home and says,
I got some boxes for you. A cardboard.
Yeah, so I was like, really? I was like, I really need it right now. I've got this project I'd like to do at the weekend and I need it. Let me show you what he brought. So yeah, this is what he brought home. I don't know if it can tell you size, but I could definitely fit in those boxes. Me and sister might both be able to fit in those boxes, and that's more there. So this is exactly what I needed for this project. All right, let's do this.
Where do you want it?
I don't know, something like here, I guess.
Okay.
Here or a little lower, you should be able to go this way. Yeah. Almost. Can we go from this way?
Sure.
Nice. They used to slide out, but I doubt they will anymore. Oh, that one might.
You get that. Oh, there you go. Look. Right.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Ouch.
Looking hot.
Ouch, Charlie. Yeah.
That really hurt, Charlie.
Yeah, that's warm.
Probably.
Nice slurry.
Here.
Now the freezer's part of my hand.
Did you and the freezer become one?
Yeah.
What's the matter, boy? Now you're not as strong as your mama?
I just don't know how to do it. Is it just a pull?
Yeah.
Just this in the water.
Is it cold or hot?
Lukewarm.
So we're gonna try to get this door to lay back more and hopefully pull the drawers out. Nice.
Wait, you didn't want all of them out, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can always put one back in to be a prop if we need to. I don't really want to impede the movement of the worms either. Nice. Sorry, but the neighbors are mowing. Can't help that. But look right here. See how open all that is, and it just goes straight through in the bottom? We're going to put one of the shelves back in here to block this, so we'll have the rest of it that way. And then I'll figure out something to do over here differently. Maybe put some soil in it, put some shade loving plants or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes after that. So there's what it looks like. So it's just taken off, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches of it, but we still have all the rest of that for the worms to live in. So we're also going to put a hole in the bottom, just in case there's ever too much water that gets in it. That way we have a drain, plus you can collect what is basically the worm pee and use that in your garden as well.
So we're going to have to change the drill bit because the depth is deeper down there, and it comes and hits this. And there's a little tip for you, because you can't put an oversized bit, because this is what centers the drill bit. So what you do, you put this on first, because this drill bit or hole saw is wider than this, so it'll actually go through. Line it up with your mandrel on the bottom, but you put this one back on the center.
So the white one helps center it, and then the big one takes out.
Yeah, if you can get it on there.
So it just needs to be on the thread just a little.
Yeah. So once it's in the hole, it just holds it.
Yeah.
So it'll be like that. So this will center the hole, this will drill a bigger hole.
Cool. Okay, so now we have a, what size hole is it?
1.5 inch.
1.5 inch size hole, and I don't want that big a hole because all the worms are going to crawl out of it. So I found this is off an old tiki light, and we're going to lay that in the hole like that and put a rock over it to hold it in place. So there will be a hole that size, but you know, if you escape, that's okay, but this rock will hold it down while I'm putting in materials and keep this from moving around. Plus, I'm going to see if I can put something underneath to collect any of the juices from the worms as well. I've got all these boxes to go through and make them a little bit smaller so they will fit. And they also have let's see if you can see these big clips in them. So he got me some tools, box cutter and these, so I can pull these out. So I'm gonna go through and process these, and I marked on here about how big it needs to be cut down to, so I can kind of get an idea on what size to break them down to. And I have a little bun friend out here with me enjoying the weather today as well. Yeah, that should work nicely. So we're going to go ahead and get these prepped and get the layers put in this new worm container. And I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to just do that over and over and over until I have what I need. And these won't go to waste either. Okay, y'all, so now that everything is prepared, we need to start layering in things. And I have prepped a lot of the cardboard, but we're going to go ahead and start because I still have a lot more to go through. But I want to get as much of this done and complete here. If I need to add more as I go, then you can always do that. We're always going to continue adding things to it, but I don't have all the time in the world, so we're going to get this part done. So we're going to start with the cardboard in the bottom. Hopefully I can get these to bend. This is a like industrial strength cardboard I got here. It's really thick. So I just cram that in there because we have that hole in the bottom with a rock on top. Plus, can you see there? There's a pole right there that he cut for me. That way we can just shut the lid and it'll prop it open right there. So I'm gonna pack all these things around the pole so it'll stay in place. But yeah, I just went through and pushed it all in and formed it to the bottom since there's a rock there, and then I'm gonna add some more layers on top of it. Okay, so I am going to make this bottom layer of cardboard quite thick because you can't get back down to the bottom to put more cardboard. So I'm going to go ahead and put a decent layer now because they like to go in all those little crevices to lay their eggs. So I'm gonna give them a whole lot of place to lay their eggs at the bottom if they choose so. And then we're gonna add some more stuff next. All right, so here I have been collecting bags of leaf, mulch, sticks, branches, stuff like that as the brown material. And we're gonna go ahead and put as much as we need in here. I don't know, to probably do 5 inches or so of a layer thick on top of the cardboard. And this is very damp and heavy, and some of it has started to break down already. But this is everything from, this bag particularly is mostly leaves, but I know some of them have some thicker mulch and sticks and things like that in them too. Hopefully not all of these are as heavy as that one. Yeah, this one has a lot of pine needles and things like that. Okay, so after the layer of leaves, I'm gonna go ahead and get one more thing. And aside from the actual worms and their food, this is all you need to get started with a worm bin. All right, so I got it, and it is also heavy. Oh. All this is that reclaimed pot and soil. So I'm gonna throw a layer of this in it, and I probably have some more I can throw in here. Any spent soil, stuff like that, they'll love it, and they'll help turn it into good soil. Sorry, they're mowing again. This is what it's looking like. Cardboard, then brown matter, leaf litter type stuff, spent soil if you have it. And we're going to put some more cardboard and some more brown matter in here as well. I want to get it quite full. You see I have that much left to fill it, but I want to get as much stuff as I can in here right now. I'll just show you a brief overview of this area of all the lovelies that I have planted. I did not plant that.
It's catnip.
Is that catnip? That might be. Or is it a loaf? You tell me. Oreo! Hi. What are you doing in there?
He looks catatonic.
Oh Lord. Alright, so some of this stuff was damp, but we're going to water this in even more. That way the cardboard gets wet as well. You want to think about, for your home for your worms, you want dark, you want average temperatures, dampness, and food. Those are the main things to think about when you're building a worm bin. And food can be anything from plants in your garden, things you've trimmed off, things like leafy greens, ones that aren't that nice looking. Basically, I feed them anything my chickens don't get, or I'll share it between the two. So if I have an abundance, like right now I have a bunch of kale that's been sitting in the garden over the summer that I've been feeding the chickens. But I can also rip out those plants and throw them in here and feed them those. Or if you have a bag on your mower, you can dump those in there. Any sort of food, kitchen scraps, I do put eggshells in it. They will break those down, but it will take a long time for that to be bioavailable. Alright, and that looks about good to me. Also, if you have any questions about any of this, please leave it down in the comments. That way we can have a discussion about it, and anybody else who has those same questions can read and learn as well. Okay, so this bin right here is what the worms are currently living in. So you can see they're getting quite an upgrade. And the more space I have to put material in, the more they can break it down, and I will have very, very nutrient rich soil to put back in my garden, or add to pot plants, or just use it as a fertilizer. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. Look, there's some right here. So this bin is just completely full of worms. And I don't know if you can see, but this one doesn't really have that white band that goes across the neck. It's going to have one soon. But once they have the white band, they're the ones who are breeding. Look at that. One handful in, and there's a ton. This right here. Can you see right there? There's a big light colored band that goes through. So that worm right there is making other worms for us. And this is just literally crawling with life. Every handful just has tons and tons and tons of worms in it, which is what you want to see. And hopefully, moving them in this, they'll be able to have more room for lots and lots and more babies. That's what we're after. So I am going to go ahead and get these guys dumped in here, along with whatever they have in here. And you can see exactly what we got going on. I have biodegradable coffee filters and eggs and just all kinds of things going on in here. Some vegetables that either got damaged by pests I throw in here. I sure hope y'all can see. You're in the shade. But look, I moved this cardboard. And there's just tons of them. So I think this might end up being my absolute preferred way of composting, because I can take all this and just make sure I don't have a handful of worms and throw it in a new pot of a plant that I'm up potting, or dump the whole bunch of it in my garden beds. I have raised beds, I have in-ground beds, so anything like that you can throw them in. And this bin, I just moved them to this bin and added a bunch of this to the bottom. All these grasses and stuff. Not too long ago. And while I was doing it, I was like, man, I just need a bigger home. It's time. Basically, I'm making a giant worm poop collector for free, so I don't have to pay for that. Alright. Last thing to do. If we don't cover this, the moisture is going to escape. So I have reserved, excuse me, some more cardboard. So we're just going to cover it like that with both of these and kind of cap them off, right? Ooh, before I forget, I want to move this out of the way. I have some more food for them. All of this just came out of the garden because it is time to change over crops. And if you want to see what I'm doing on that video, go check it out. It'll be like a fall reset video or sowing plants for fall, something along the line. I'll try to link it below. I don't know which one's going to be out first. Alright, so now they have a bunch of food. Then I'm going to go ahead and put these back. And anytime I have a whole lot of food like this, I will remove the cardboard, put it in, and then cover it back up just like this. But I'll show you. If I just have kitchen scraps or whatever, I'm going to just come through, lift it, chuck it in, close it back up. We don't have to make things complicated. Now let's see how the stick thing works. Perfect. That's what I want. This is in line with this, so it is going to keep rain from just going directly in. If we have some sideways rain, it will come in either way. But since it's mild temperatures right now, we're just going to leave this open. And whenever I come add food, I'll just make sure the moisture level is right. It should be fine for now. During the summers when I'm going to really struggle with keeping that. But hopefully by this coming summer, they will have a whole habitat created in there and they should be able to keep themselves moist. Alright, so it's December 13th, so let's check in on the worms and see if this was a good idea or not. But first, fun fact, I found out recently from my great aunt that my great grandfather was a worm farmer. So is it in my genes? I don't know. But I found that pretty interesting. Alright, so the top cardboard is still the same. And there is still a lot of things. There's all kinds of things in here. So if you're somebody that don't like bugs very much, this might not be a project for you. But look, I just get underneath some of this. This is just stuff she's cleaned out from the chickens. We throw that in there as well. But just underneath that is lovely dark rich matter already. And I'm already finding worms. I mean, I just moved a little bit. Where'd he go? Oh, I dropped him. So, I mean, all the way up to the top, there's worms already. And just below where their food layer is, there's already dark rich matter. So I can just move a little bit of stuff to start getting healthy, rich, organic material to throw back. Look how dark and rich that is. And then I just cover them back up. But basically, if I have this thick, I will feed them underneath that so they don't have to travel so far to get through all the material to get to their food. Just keep them fed. And this has been working out amazingly. So I can't say I will never go back to compost piles or compost bins, but for right now, between chickens and this worm bin, all my food waste and plants, plant matter, anything from the garden that's not diseased, it has a home where I don't have to turn a pile and maintain a pile and do all this stuff. It either goes to the chickens or it goes to these guys over here, and then I have good, healthy, rich soil from these guys to put back into my garden without all the fuss and muss, back-breaking work of turning a pile and making sure the temperature is the right right to do what it needs to do. These things just do it for me, and I am at the stage of my life where I really appreciate something just passively working for me. So I say it's a win because I haven't done anything but feed them. I've thrown them kitchen scraps that the chickens don't eat, and that's it. I haven't done anything, and we've even had a freeze. It wasn't a hard freeze, but we've had a freeze, so I've just left this open. If we get multiple days of hard freezes, then I probably will close it to keep them warm. But so far, they're thriving, and I'm enjoying this to have beneficial things to throw back in my garden. So yeah, what do you say, trash or treasure? Let me know in the comments if you have reclaimed a freezer and what you have done with it, or anything else that most people would just throw out. I love having new ideas on how to reuse things to keep them out of the dumps. And I really appreciate you spending time with us. This has been a great project. It didn't take too terribly long, except we were trying to dodge the people mowing. Sometimes we couldn't, and I apologize in advance. But again, thanks for hanging out with us, and we appreciate all the things you do, like subscribing and liking and sharing, commenting, anything like that. And we will see you on the next one. Love you, bye-bye. How about that? You should put that in the video.
Is this a good size for you?
Show me.
Let's see, this one here,
Oh,
I
yeah.
drill up to that point. This bigger one, I can go all the way.
Show me.
I don't know how.
Show me the size. Come, face it at me. Face it towards me with the bit. There you go.
That's 1.1
1 1/8 diameter.
Yeah.
That should be plenty. You think?
As long as it's what I'm saying, I can't go any further than this.
Well, the bit might go all the way through, and then we can go from the from the inside back out too.
Maybe. You're gonna have to help me hold this.
Am I?
Yeah.